Hey everyone, welcome back. This will be my last video for today and maybe my last one if nobody else has questions, but I really felt like it was important to answer some of the questions I'm getting regarding how do you balance your kids and working at home. Just to give you a little background on myself, these are my three kiddos. As you can see, I'm a mom of three rambunctious boys, 6th grade, 4th grade, and 3 years old. Along with you guys, I am going to be learning a new way of working from home now that my kiddos are home with me. We are right there with you as far as Pasco eSchool teachers. We are learning what our new normal looks like at the same time you guys are, and how we balance our job with these kiddos at home. I want to share with you my plan. And I say plan because this is a plan. This is what I think I'm going to be able to do with being home and having kiddos at home. And so I've got 3 plans for you. I'm first going to share my plan, and then I'm going to give you a couple of examples of a plan that you might use if you don't have kids and a plan that you might use if you have kids. So for me, I need to make sure that not only am I doing a great job as a teacher, but I'm also being a mom and making time for my family. And I will tell you, one of the hardest things about being an online teacher is making time for your family and that work-life balance. And it can be difficult at times. I'm not even going to sit here and lie to you guys. When I first started teaching, there were many days that I was in tears because it is a lot, and that is okay. And know that your coworkers are going to be in the same situation that you are, and it's so important that we encourage each other and help each other during this time. And so for me, this is kind of a tentative schedule of what my day is going to look like. I do have 3 kiddos that are in Pasco County schools. So I have 1 pre-K, 1 6th grade, 1 4th grade. And so I've thought about their personalities and who works best in the morning, who can work more independently, who needs all my attention. And I've created a schedule of what that looks like for me and for them, but then also what work things can I be doing simultaneously while I'm assisting them. And so I'm not going to go through this all in detail because you guys can see it on the screen, but if you want copies of this, I will put my email address in the description. You can email me. I'd be happy to send these to you. But for me, what I know is that the best time for me to grade is when my house is quiet. I can focus. I don't have to think about, somebody needing breakfast or somebody needing to go potty because my 3-year-old is potty training, so I like to grade before my house gets going in the morning. That's my quiet time. That's when I find that I can focus the best. Now, my 4th grader, he's a morning kiddo, so he's not very independent when it comes to learning, and so I know that he's going to need attention from me. And so I have him slotted to work in the mornings. He's an early riser. He gets up with me. So we're going to work on his stuff in the morning. But while I'm working with him, I can then be returning emails, texting students. I try not to text before 9 a.m. Some people are asleep. If you have high schoolers, you might want to wait till after 10 or 11. But that's a time when I can do some of that outgoing stuff that isn't going to wake people up. And then I figure after I work with my 4th grader, I'm going to need a break. So I've given myself a break here at 11 a.m. I might try to sneak in some outgoing calls while my kiddos are, in the $25 Walmart pool in the backyard, right? Doing some outdoor activities. And then we're going to have lunch and we're going to chill. This 11 to 1, that's going to kind of be our break. After lunch, I'll get started back maybe returning some contacts, because now my 6th grader is going to be working. He is in the Infinity program, so he knows how to do his work on his computer. He should need limited assistance from me. So during that time, I could be making calls. Plus, I'm probably more likely to get somebody to answer the phone if I call them in the afternoon versus calling them in the morning. Okay, again, think to high schoolers, middle schoolers, they're still going to be in bed probably. I've been teaching this week, and I can just let you know that I started calling at 10 o'clock yesterday, and I woke up a couple of my high schoolers. So I'm going to try to start making those calls in the afternoons because they're adjusting their schedules as well, and so I need to be flexible with that. But then by 3 o'clock, I'm going to take a break, and I'm going to take a long break. I'm going to disconnect. I'm going to spend some time with my kids. I'm going to work with my pre-Ker on, some of his stuff that he needs to be doing as far as his schoolwork goes. And I'm going to just spend time with my kids. And then when my husband gets home from work, I'm going to say, hey, you know what? Here's dinner. I need to go to my office. I need to make some contacts with maybe some parents that are now home from work. I might check my messages and reply to any text messages and that sort of thing before I close up for the day. But at 8 o'clock, if my phone goes off or my texts go off, I'm not going to answer. And I'm telling you guys that you have to set those boundaries. You can actually train your students to respect those boundaries if you stop answering the phone and texting and emailing after 8 o'clock, because they will understand after they leave a voicemail and you call them back the next day that you're serious about your workday ending at 8 o'clock. And so that's part of the teaching them. And then, of course, I'm going to spend time with my family after that. And so this is my plan going into next week. It is a plan. I have not tried it. I have not worked with my kiddos home doing their own schoolwork. Of course, I've had them home while I've been working this week. But, it is a lot, and it's going to be a lot for a lot of us. And so we need to be super supportive of each other. The most important thing that I can remind you of is your self-care time. Okay, I have mine in the morning. Okay, you have to be doing something for yourself. You can't constantly give and give to your kiddos and your students and expect to be able to maintain that long term. So make sure when you make your schedule that you do give yourself some time for you, and that will look different for everybody. Now, I also made just kind of an outline of what a schedule might look like for if you have children at home. And this schedule is not filled out for 7.5 hours a day. And I purposely did that because as teachers, we're going to want to do things for our own students that maybe our team is not doing. It might be things beyond, just calling them or monitoring the discussion board or grading. It might be you want to make a Buncee slide that has all your kids' birthdays on it. Well, that's part of your workday. You can account for that in your schedule. Maybe you're one of the teachers that's actually having to write curriculum for your kiddos, like if you're in the Cambridge program or something like that. So there are other tasks that you're going to, that certain people are going to be doing beyond, what we are required to do. And we know as teachers, we have a requirement and then we have what we do, and it's usually different. And so, when you look at these, I don't want you to go, oh, she's only scheduled out 6 hours of the day. Well, this is an example with time left for you to do as a teacher what is unique to you. And so I want to make sure that you understand that. Now, depending on how many kids you have, depends on what your home column or your life column looks like. I've just kind of filled in maybe some ideas for how you might do some messaging in the morning and some messaging at night, maybe grading in the middle of the day. Sometimes I grade in the middle of the day when my little guy's asleep. So, you have the flexibility, to make this what you want it to be. And I'm more than happy to email this over to you if you'd like to modify it and make it your own. My email address will be in the comment section and in the description section if you would like to email me for a copy. And then those of you without children, I encourage you to reach out to your teammates that have children. and I encourage you to encourage them. And so, you know, this is a transition, and we have lots of people transitioning. We have the teachers themselves transitioning. We have our own children transitioning. We have our family life dynamics transitioning. And we also have our students transitioning. And so there's lots of transitions, and with transitions comes anxiety and worry. And so, reaching out to each other and saying, hey, are you okay? Maybe your teammate is supposed to monitor the discussion board and it's Friday at 9 a.m. and one of the kiddos is sick. Maybe you can step in and say, you know what, I got that hour for you. And so really making sure that we're looking out for each other is super important. Exercise is a great way to relieve stress. I teach personal fitness, and that's one thing that I always stress to my kiddos is even if it's something as simple as a walk, you have to walk away. And I think more so with people without children at home, you can get sucked into sitting in front of your computer for long periods of time because you don't have a lot of distractions. And so it's important for you to break away from that computer, to not get sucked into being in front of that computer from 8 to 8 Monday through Friday, because that is not the expectation. And so here I've created a little schedule for you. If you don't have children, of what your day might look like. You might do more of your stuff during the day because you don't have kiddos at home. So you may like to, do more of your stuff during the day and kind of sit back at night. But the most important thing to remember is that the work-life balance for everybody looks different. And it's great to share ideas, and it's great to have some kind of stability in your work schedule so that that you know the expectations. Your family knows the expectations. So remember, as I said in one of my other videos, it takes 2 weeks for a routine to establish itself to see if it works. So make a plan, stick with that plan for a couple weeks and see how it goes. Hopefully we'll only be at this for a couple weeks, but if not, then we have an idea of where we're headed, in the future. And so, as always, if you have questions, just let me know. And again, these are my suggestions, my opinions, and so definitely do what works best for you and your family.